Namaram Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravane Pacharane Nevashesha Shrinivari Praskachati Satar Panchakalpatarubhya Sakrapa Sundarbhya Vachapatitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Vaishnava Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasani Gaurabhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama. So we're reading from Gauranga Stava Kalpavrksha, and I mentioned these are 10 prayers included in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Anshya Leela by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj. These prayers are spoken by Raghunath Das Goswami. So there are many prayers of Lord Chaitanya in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Mangala. But these prayers are included in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which would make these prayers more important. So the last prayer was text 4. You remember each one ends with Gauranga, Hridaya, Udaya Mamadayate, which means Gauranga, Lord Chaitanya, Hridaya, my heart, Udayam. Udaya means to awaken, Bhav Udaya, Udaya, Mam, me, Madayati, madden. May Lord Chaitanya awaken in my heart. This is called Sputi. The Lord manifests in the heart and madden me with love for Him. So text 4, I'll just recount. Sometimes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to the house of Kasi Misra, and there he would feel greatly aggrieved due to feelings of separation from Krishna. So he's in the mood of Radharani. His transcendental body would become slackened. His arms and legs would become elongated. Rolling on the ground, the Lord will cry out in distress in a faltering voice and weep very sorrowfully. May that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu awaken in my heart and madden me with love. So we mentioned last time, Kasi Misra, you can go and see that house. And the Gambhira, this is where Lord Chaitanya would live. And Swarup Damodar Ramananda Roy would associate with him. Of course, also Kasi Misra, Govinda, Ramai, Nandai, Chota Haridas, Bhadda Haridas, King Patipuruda, Sarvabhuma Bhattacharya, Bhavananda Roy, so many. But his main associates late at night were these two, Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy. So text number 5, how wonderful it is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left his residence without opening the 3 strongly bolted doors. Then he crossed over 3 high walls, and later, because of strong feelings of separation from Krishna, he fell down amongst the cows of the Telangi district, and his limbs entered into his body like that of a tortoise. May the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu awaken in my heart and madden me with love. So when we visit the Singadwara, there are different entrances to the Jagannath Puri temple, but the main entrance in Grand Avenue, there is not the Garuda Stamba, there's a statue, I think, sun god Varuni. Anyhow, next to that, next to the door, the entrance, there is an area where they throw food. So this would be prasad that is apparently gone stale, or etc. And the cows from the Telangi district would eat this. So even now you go there, you can see cows taking that prasad, or that food, what is prasadam? You can see them. Of course, standing on the entrance to the Jagannath Puri temple, I was not allowed entrance because my body's the wrong color. It was suggested that I get boot polish, but I thought if Rupa Goswami didn't go, and Sanatana Goswami didn't go, and Haridas Thakur didn't go into the Jagannath temple, then why should I? Or how could I? We are Rupanugas. So Rupa Goswami is one of our spiritual masters. If he felt that it wasn't necessary, or it was a transgression of social etiquette for him to go in and take darshan of Lord Jagannath, then how can I? It's not appropriate. So that's all right. We stand outside the door and we offer our obeisances. So Lord Chaitanya left his room, the Gambhira room, 3 high walls, apparently, 3 strongly bolted doors, and due to feelings of separation. So what is this separation? Viraha. Viraha. Or another word, vipralamba. Pralamba is union. Vipralamba is separation. But generally, we use the word viraha. So Rupa Goswami's described there's 4 types. Well, there's 4 divisions, or different types of separation, but then within each division there are subdivisions. So the first one will be Purvarag, and this is described in chapter 21, canto 10, entitled Venu Geet. Rateya Sangimat Purvam Dashan Shravanarija. Purvaragasa Uchate. Those feelings of separation which are stimulated or awakened within the heart before actually meeting Krishna. So you see him from a distance, or you hear his flute. So before actually meeting Krishna, feelings of separation may awaken within the heart. This is called Purvarag. Purva, of course, means past. And this Purvarag is exemplified in chapter 21. So actually, for sadhaks practicing bhakti like us, Purvarag is the most suitable type of separation that we can aspire for. The other 3, which I'll describe now, are not suitable. And we'll explain why. So Purvarag is the first one. The gopis would meet in Yavat, and they would discuss amongst themselves Lalita, Vishaka, Champakalata, Chittu Devi, Ranga Devi, Sabya, Padma. When they were feeling separation, there wasn't so much distinction between this group and that group. Vamabhav and Dakshin. There wasn't so much distinction because in the mood of separation they all embraced each other and felt sorry for each other. So Purvarag. The next one is man. Man is anger. So it is transcendental anger towards Krishna. And when, for instance, Radharani would feel some little anger, and she would look away from Krishna, or she'd walk away from Krishna, or she'd ignore Krishna. So this is the separation, that she ignores Krishna. This is a type of separation. Then there is man, Udatta man, Lalita man. Udatta man is not so strong. This is Chandravali and Bhadra. And Lalita man is stronger. It's a more intense type of loving anger. And this is exhibited by Shamala and Radharani, obviously Lalita, Vishaka. So then Udatta man, there is Udatta Dakshin man, Udatta Vama man. So these are all subdivisions, and Rupa Goswami has described all of these. Then Lalita man also, Nama man, etc. So loving anger. Then there is anger which comes from no cause, and anger which comes from a cause. So hoitiki, ahoitiki. Hoitiki man, ahoitiki. So obviously we cannot become angry with Krishna. We're sadhaks. It is not our position to become angry towards Krishna. So this is not an appropriate mood to try to cultivate. Then there is Prembhachitya. Prembhachitya is described when Radharani is situated with Krishna, but anticipating that they may separate in the future. Although at that present time they're together, but she anticipates in a few hours Krishna will have to go, and then she feels separation, although she's with Krishna. So this is described by Rupa Goswami, the intense agony of separation or anticipating separation in the future. And the wonderful example that I think we're all familiar with is Radha and Krishna were together, I think at Prem Sarovar, and Subal was also there, and a bee, Madhu, a bee came. So another name for a bee is Madhu, honey. And the bee was flying around Radharani's lotus feet, obviously attracted towards that special mercy of Radharani's feet. And Radharani exhibited a mood of being somewhat flustered, somewhat concerned. And Subal, he got rid of the bee. Somehow or other he shooed it away, he got rid of the bee. And then he announced, Madhu has gone, Madhu has gone. So of course Madhu is the bee. Madhu means sweetness, but Madhu is also short for Madhusyadan or Krishna. So Radharani heard the word, Krishna has gone. Although she's sitting and actually touching Krishna, still she feels separation. It's called Prembhachitya. Again, this is not for the practicing sadhak. We can understand it theoretically, but you have to be liberated to experience this. And then the last one is Kinchidura Pravas. There are two types of pravas. Kinchidura Pravas and the other one. It'll come in a minute. Sadura Pravas, Kinchidura Pravas. So this is when Radha and Krishna actually separate. Krishna goes back to Nandagram, and there is some 2 or 3 hours when they don't associate. So this is short separation, and then long separation, Sadura Pravas. Dura means Dura Darshan. Dura means distance. Su means even more. Su Devi, Devi, Su means more. So this is when Krishna goes to Mathura. Krishna goes to Dwarka. So this type of separation is very intense. So Sadura Pravas is very intense. And Kinchidura Pravas, this will happen in the course of a day when Krishna goes off to Govardhan Hill, and there's some slight separation, maybe for 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. So very briefly, I've gone over different types of separation. So what would Lord Chaitanya be experiencing? It could be any one of the four, but in particular, Krishna leaving Vrindavan. This is described by Rupa Goswami in text number 2 of Hamsa Duda. The English translation is, Lord Krishna and Balaram, encouraged by Akura, left Vrindavan and went to Mathura. At that time, Radharani's mind became completely disheveled, became completely disturbed, and she drowned in the ocean of anxiety. So the word is chinta, C-I-N-T-A, anxiety. So what was that anxiety? Then you may answer, well, Krishna's left, and she can't see Krishna, she can't talk to Krishna. That is her anxiety. The Acharyas have described another level of anxiety, chinta, C-I-N-T-A. There are 10 symptoms of viraha, chinta, anxiety. So what is the anxiety? Radharani, her mind is completely disturbed, and she's thinking, now there's no point in living. I cannot live anymore. I will die. But if I die, Krishna hears about it. He won't like it. He won't appreciate it. He won't want me to die. So I want to die, but I can't die. So that was her anxiety. And she was drowning in the ocean of mental speculation and anxiety. Mental speculation, will he come back? When will he come back? How will he come back? And chinta, this, I want to die, but I can't die because my life is meant for the pleasure of Krishna. And obviously he won't be pleased. So Lord Chaitanya felt these different types of separation. So it could have been the first one, Purva Rag. It could have been man. It could have been Lalita man, Udatta man. It could have been Premvaichitya, or it could have been Pravas, or it could have been Kinchidura Pravas or Sadura Pravas. These are the 4 types of separation. We can simply pray to Lord Chaitanya that the same feelings that he has or he experienced in the Gambhira can also come to us. Even if only 1/1,000,000th particle come to us, that's good enough. After all, Lord Chaitanya's feelings of separation in the mood of Radharani are unlimited. So what is 1/1,000,000th of something which is unlimited? It's also unlimited. So we pray that Lord Chaitanya's mood of viraha, separation, can manifest even to a small degree in our heart. Now an interesting point is that Lord Chaitanya, Radha Bhav, he was in the mood of Radharani. But one can also have this mood of separation towards the Vaishnavas. It may not be quite so intense. Of course, it depends on your adhikari. Raghunath Das Goswami had this mood of separation towards Rupa Goswami. But he was seeing himself as Rati Manjari, sometimes Tulsi Manjari, and he was seeing it towards Rupa Goswami, who was actually Rupa Manjari. So the reverse is where it describes that he felt this separation towards Rupa Manjari. So one can have these feelings of separation also towards one's guru, if one's guru is qualified, and if you are qualified. We can have these feelings to a certain degree towards Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta, Bhaktivinoda, Jagannath, Madhusudan, Das Babaji Maharaj, Baladev, Vishwanath, Rup Sanatan. It's not just towards Radharani, it can be towards her associates, Lalita, Vishaka, Rupa Manjari, Lavanga Manjari, Rasa Manjari, Rati Manjari. But this is very high class, and this would be Braja Bhakti. Another name for Braja Bhakti is Kevala Bhakti. Another name is spontaneous devotional service. Another name is Raghunath Sadhana Bhakti. For us, it's sadhana. Sadhana means we're practicing. It's not Raghunath Siddha Bhakti. Not yet. We hope, and by mercy from Rupa and Raghunath, by mercy from Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta, it can come. It can come in this lifetime. But we shouldn't jump like a monkey and think we're more advanced than we really are. So if we're fortunate, we have to be very, very fortunate. we can practice Raghunaga sadhana bhakti. But before that is Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. And that we have to practice very diligently, very carefully, like the lines on a stone, very strictly, and become fully acquainted with what is called sambandhana gyan, knowledge of our relationship with this material world, knowledge of our relationship with Vishnu, Vishnu Tattva, Maya Tattva, Guru Tattva, Shakti Tattva, Jiva Tattva. And then, cautiously after learning all of this, we learn something in theory about Rasa Tattva. So there has to be sambandhana gyan. Otherwise, if we go into the realm of Braja Bhakti or Raghunaga Sadhana Bhakti without sufficient grounding, without a sufficient foundation, then the building will collapse. If the foundation is weak, it may go very high, but the wind comes, earthquake comes, and it crumbles. We read about this sometimes in India, buildings collapsing because foundation is bad. They would often mix the cement. You're supposed to mix cement to sand, like, I think, 1 cement and 2 sand. But they'll, to save money, mix 1 cement to 5 lots of sand. And then when the building is finished, it's so weak, you can even put your hand through the wall. It just crumbles, like apple crumble. So Sambandhana Gyan must be there. And Sambandhana Gyan is Bhagavad Gita, 18 chapters, 700 verses. We must know them carefully. And Bhagavatam Canto 1 to Canto 9. We must assimilate it very carefully. And if without Sambandhana Gyan, we venture into the realm of Raghunaga Sadhana Bhakti, it can actually damage our bhakti. It can damage. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has said this. Following the line of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, one should not venture into rasa vichar unless one has higher qualification. This is a statement by Srila Prabhupada's sannyas guru, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Maharaj, in the introduction to Jaivadharma. So don't venture into rasa vichar unless you have higher qualification. Otherwise you get sahajiya mood or sahajiya bhav, and you start taking it very cheaply. So this is, Srila Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta were very cautious about this. And this is why Prabhupada didn't actually say much. In the 11 years he was with us, 12 years, sorry, he didn't really talk so much about Braja Bhakti. Although we see it in the 10th canto, he gave us that smiling face of Krishna, and in various sections in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela chapter 4, Madhya Leela chapter 8, Ancha Leela, it's very clearly is written. He didn't actually talk about it much, hardly ever spoke about it. He was more concerned about explaining Sambandhana Gyan, when not this body, the soul, the law of karma, and seeing Krishna as Ishvara Parama Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So please take these instructions very carefully. Pray to Lord Chaitanya that these thoughts can come into our consciousness, and when we become qualified. Only when we become qualified. Vanchakalpas Durubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Vaishnava Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Shri Raghunath Ki Jai, Guru Parambara Ki Jai, Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo.